In this video, I will share with you 8 principles about Stoicism that will make you become unbeatable. Stoicism is a powerful philosophy that can make you overcome tough times. I spent a lot of time reading books and studying all the greatest Stoic philosophers. Most importantly, I applied their rules into my personal life. It has completely transformed my life, and I want to share it with you. So let's go! Rule number 1. Tough times bring character. According to Marcus Aurelius, the universe doesn't care about us. What he means is that misfortune is a normal part of life. When something unfortunate happens to us, we often think that it's bad luck and it shouldn't happen to us. But if we are realistic, it's normal that our close ones pass away at some point, for health problems to arise, and for personal and professional challenges to occur. And Stoic people help us understand more these things and accept them with more easiness. One important thing that you need to understand is that everything is a matter of perspective. For example, watching the World Cup final, I noticed how the same event affected people differently. A goal could bring happiness to some people while it could bring misery to others. In reality, there's only one event, but people perspectives create two different unique experiences. If you're French, the event was terrible, but if you're Argentinian, well, the event was amazing. This shows that we can choose our interpretations of these events, our preferences, and which team we support. The first thing we can do is see negative events as opportunities for learning. As Ryan Holiday said, the obstacle is the way. Through our suffering and difficulties, we grow and learn. For instance, if you fail an exam, a non-Stoic person may feel very sad about themselves. As a Stoic person would see it as an opportunity to improve. They might think they should have prepared more, been more attentive in class, or consider changing their career path. Whenever an unfortunate event happens, we should ask ourselves what opportunities of learning does that present. If you're experiencing a deep depression, you can let it convince yourself to stay in bed and do nothing all day. If you're unhappy, depressed, sick, it can be a tough period in life. But if you think stoically, you shouldn't use these negative emotions to be lazy or stop going to work. On the contrary, let the pain motivate you to make changes. In the words of Winston Churchill, if you're going through hell, keep going. Don't stop and start running. The second rule of Stoicism is focus on what you can control. To explain this rule, I'll start with a quote that I really like. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Many people think this is a quote from Marcus Aurelius, but it's actually from Reynolds Niebuhr. Our mind tends to give attention to things that we cannot even control in our lives. And on the other hand, we make excuses for the things that we can actually change in our lives. Instead of dwelling in these issues, we should ask ourselves if something is beyond our control. If it is, we should just accept it. But if it is something we can change, we should take action. It is important to make the difference between the two and focusing on taking action. Personally, I divide events in my life in two different categories: actions and results. Sometimes the result is not something that we can completely control or receive immediately. For example, if you want to have a lot of money tomorrow, there's nothing much you can do. If I want to change my body physique, well, it won't change overnight. The focus on the outcome usually leads to negative results. However, if I make the right actions every day, act with discipline, courage, kindness, I know I am living according to my values, regardless of the result. The important thing is not what I achieve, but the steps I'm making every single day to achieve my goals. The third rule of Stoicism is always to choose the hardest path. Many Stoic people put themselves in discomfort on purpose. For example, they sleep on the floor or deprive themselves of food. It could be also taking a cold shower. It is something in general that takes you out of your comfort zone. It leads to building discipline and resilience. Choosing the difficult path also applies to our character, such as admitting our mistakes, forgiving others, controlling our emotions, and stop complaining all the time. Being Stoic doesn't mean suppressing all your emotions, but rather not letting them control us. It requires a lot of discipline to acknowledge your emotions, let them fade away, and not let them dictate your actions. One of my favorite phrases related to Stoic rule number 4 is to have the discipline of the action. It's a sentiment I often share with people asking for advice. You already know what needs to be done, but you often hesitate to take action. In today's world, the people who are seeking for self-improvement are not missing information. The real problem lies into translating the knowledge into action, and this is a common struggle for everyone. This is evident in areas like weight loss industry, where people spend hours on choosing which program to follow, reading tons of books, trying all different diets and supplements, or experimenting with different sports, when in reality 99% of all individuals, the solution is simply to eat less and exercise more. The same can be seen in business, where people spend countless hours searching, contemplating, planning, and conducting market studies without taking any concrete action. Stoic people will realize that taking action is more important than the thought. As Marcus Aurelius advises, we should stop letting our mind focusing on the future and instead focusing on the present moment, treating it as though it was our last moment. With individuals like myself who struggle into taking action, a helpful rule I use every day in my daily routine is to commit on a task for just 5 minutes, and if after that time I still have a lack of motivation, I'll give myself a permission to do a break of 5 minutes, 30 minutes, or even even an hour. And then I return to do that task again for another 5 minutes. And you'll soon realize that in 99% of all cases, once you start a task, you realize that it's not that difficult and that you will find the momentum to finish. Our brain has a special blockage that demotivates us in starting any kind of task, which usually leads to procrastination. And on the other side, our brain usually focuses on tasks that we actually want to do. By using this 5-minute rule, you will fight procrastination and you will get rid of all your bad habits. Rule number 5 is to take the right path. For the past few months, I've been taking a 30-minute daily walk as soon as I wake up. On these walks, I purely focus on my thoughts. I reflect on how my life is going, my successes, my mistakes, my thoughts, my problems, and how I can solve them. By doing this practice, I realize that in my life there's many things that can be fixed just by taking a little bit of action. So I've started applying this principle in my daily routine more and more. I strongly believe that mistakes in our lives are made knowingly. For instance, we may fear that starting a business without enough knowledge may be bad, that it will lead us to bankruptcy, but such mistakes are very rare. And even if they happen, they can serve as valuable lessons for the future. In reality, most mistakes are quite different. We often do things that we know that we shouldn't, and these actions lead us to negative outcomes. For example, eating unhealthy, procrastinating important tasks, neglecting exam preparation, criticizing others, avoiding interactions with people, or hesitating to let go on productive collaborators. All of these are recognizable mistakes, yet we still make them. If you want to apply the Stoic principle, it's crucial to pay attention to your thought process, the decisions you make, and especially the mistakes you commit. So next time you're inclined to do something, but deep down you know it's not a good idea, you must have that discipline and mental strength to say no. Often the answer becomes clear. The real challenge lies into actually putting it into practice. It is almost an art of Stoicism. Rule number 6, forgiveness. When I was younger, I always wondered how people could stick to their values so much even though when they were wrong. It amazed me how difficult situations didn't let them change who they were. As I grew older, I started to understand how important this was, both from the teaching of wise thinkers and from my own experiences. If you have a strong moral character and consistently make decisions that aligns with your beliefs, you'll discover that holding on to feelings of anger can only lead to negative reactions. These negative emotions can only stop you from making good decisions. Seeking a revenge often backfires and makes the situation even worse. Staying true to yourself may seem like a sign of weakness, but it's actually a display of your strengths and honesty. Show that you can understand and empathize with others even when they've done something hurtful, even in unfair situations. And the people who harm you may be struggling themselves, and you will realize that those who harm you don't have the same control and self-esteem as you. There is a saying I really like: hurt people, hurt others. Breaking this cycle takes effort of your part. It is incredible how forgiveness can improve your well-being. Studies have shown that forgiving other people can bring a sense of calm and inner peace, similar to what people achieve through years of meditation. As we go through life, we encounter unfairness and mistreatment, but as the wise philosophers have taught us, the best revenge is to not let people negatively change who we are. Forgiveness becomes a transformative act, benefiting others and bringing yourself also inner peace. Rule number 7, staying rational in every situation. Ever since I was a child, I was fascinated by the idea of being rational separated humans and animals. It is very surprising to me that a lot of people don't even understand what this word means. Being rational simply means taking a decision based on the pros and on the cons, without being swayed by your emotions. Emotions can be very powerful and captivating. They always tempt us to act in ways that we shouldn't. For instance, when consumed by anger, we may lose control and engage destructive behavior. It is important to realize when our emotions are influencing us and find ways to calm ourselves, allowing rationality to guide our actions again. As Marcus Aurelius describes it, being a Stoic is like being the prow of a ship that withstands and dampens the fury of the surrounding waves. The last rule, rule number 8, practice gratitude. We consistently compare ourselves to others or idealize our perfect way of life. This mindset always leads to depression and anxiety, as we focus on what we not have instead of appreciating what we already accomplished. Our brains are wired to think in the future, so it is important to consciously shift our attention to what we've already progressed. Cultivating gratitude is a daily practice. It could involve writing in a notebook, reflecting during meditation, or any other method that works for you. In today's world where social media consistently exposes us to other people's successes, it is crucial to counterbalance this with gratitude. Marcus Aurelius, Tony Robbins, Oprah, and other respected figures recognize the practice of gratitude. Don't make the same mistake I did by neglecting gratitude. Take the time each day, either it's in the shower, waking up, walking, or riding the bus, or writing down 3, 5, or even 10 things to what you're grateful for. It may be simple, but it has a profound impact on our mindset. If you want me to create another video about Stoicism, show your interest by liking this one. I believe that embracing a Stoic mindset is a foundation for every successful growth. If you're interested about more personal development, click on this video to find out more. It was Alex. Thank you. Ciao.